All right, the first step that we have is to obviously get our model ready in InfraWorks. So we have already done that. I have a model called Marine Creek. If you've done any of the other InfraWorks courses on LinkedIn Learning, you may notice this particular development over here. So it's in Marine Creek, just outside Fort Worth in Texas. And we're going to use this as our little test bed. We have a Revit model, we have an overlay, we have some 3D objects. So let's see, these are civil 3D objects. We've got some component roads, and we've got things like easements and that type of thing. Now, just before we go any further, just have a look around the model and just take note of particularly the overlay itself. Now, these lines over here haven't been brought in as objects. It's just a 2D overlay of a CAD drawing. And you'll notice that once we get into Twinmotion, we won't be able to see that. That is because what we're going to do is we're going to export this particular model as an FBX. And things like overlays, terrain overlays, do not get exported. So it's just something that we may have to work around. So without further ado, just head over to Present Share tab, and then under Share, we want to choose Export 3D Model. We're going to use the entire model. You'll notice that we have our coordinate system and our offset. This is going to be important later. We're going to leave it as it is right now, but once we get into Twinmotion, you'll notice that we've got a bit of work to do in order to, get the rest of the model in the correct place. And now we want to specify the target file or files. We can either put together a single file, or we can put together multiple files, a different one for the ground, different one for the buildings, different one for the roads, all that type of thing. So you can see over here, you'd be able to create different ones. We're not going to do that. We're going to create a single file right now. And in our Beyond InfraWorks 2021 folder, I'm going to create an FBX called Development. Leave the options as they are. So we want to export the materials and the textures. We want to merge objects with the same texture together, but we're not bothered about older FBX support. So next we can hit Export, and our model will export to a single FBX file. Next up, what we can do is we can head over to Twinmotion, import it there, and start visually enhancing our development project. Before we open up in Twinmotion, I just want to show you what is created when we export something to an FBX file. So you will have a 3D object. Here we have our development. And then you will have something called a POS, a position file. And if you open this up in a notepad, it will show you where it sits in the world. So we can see here we've got our projection system, we've got our coordinates, we've got rotation, scaling, and this is editable. So if perhaps somebody sends you another FBX for the same development, but it's slightly off, you can use the same POS file, or you can edit the one that came with the particular FBX that you were sent. It's just good to bear in mind that you need this position file in order to correctly position the model within the world environment. So with that, let's head over to Twinmotion.